Okay, we started out this morning on the E-mini wanting to buy 65, 67, wanting to sell 75, plus or minus 1, or 74 to 76. Caught the market. We thought today would be a trading range day. We were at the top of the trading range. We talked about how things seem really, really bright when you're at the top of a trading range and you're reluctant to sell it because you've moved to the top of the trading range. The market activity has been on the buy side. But the way to handle that issue is to say, has anything really changed? To top all this off, we have a lot of news coming tomorrow: ADP employment, GDP advance, and FOMC at the end of the day, where no change is expected. Then on Friday, we have non-farm payroll. So we're at the top of the trading range. It has held so far. The market is pointed higher. They expect the major announcement tomorrow from the FOMC. It'll be unchanged, and that they will cut $10 billion per month from their support of the Treasury and the mortgage-backed market. So I envision another trading range day with an upward bias. We got a higher low and a higher high on this particular screen, and that means the market is pointed higher. When we take this to the F2 screen, you'll see that we're looking at a P formation, which favors higher prices without news. And if you had to make a trade at the market, you would do it from the long side in anticipation of at least a retest of the 1875 area. So biggest thing that's going to affect the trading tomorrow is going to be the FOMC. We'll get some reactions to the AMC news, but the FOMC should hold us in a trading range. And we should find a seller once again, 75 to 80. And the buyer, I'm guessing 60 to 65. The advanced GDP, looking for 1% growth. Weather related, of course. Deflator plus 1.8. Isn't that great? Got inflation higher than growth. Chicago PMI. At 56.5. Pretty healthy number, and going to be pretty easy to hit that given the strength of the automobile sector. And then after the market's all said and done, FOMC. So our first sell is going to be 75 plus or minus, and 79 to 81 for sell 2. On the buy side, I like the 65, 67, and then our 60, 62. We're just going to look for a trading range day, pretty quiet trading like we had today, and the market moves sideways into the FOMC. Now, having said that, for the overnight market, probably going to have to be a buyer against 70 for buy 1. And then buy 2 would be 65, 67. But as we going into tomorrow, that's going to be my call for those markets. Okay, the note recovered today, but we're looking at a lower high and a lower low that favors the seller on F1. Thank you, Jimmy. Yeah, sterling You know, the sad thing about this is that Sterling's story has been widely known for the last 10 years. Even Brian Gumbel talked about it. And because it's been put into print, and everybody, it's hard to refute or sweep under the rug. This guy's finally getting punished, but for Sterling to have gotten away with saying this for 10 years, it doesn't make the NBA look all that whippy either. Okay, lower high, lower low, that favors selling. That fits the template for a post-auction week. This is countered by a pretty strong P on the F2 screen. So when these two time frames are not in congruence, it usually yields a trading range. So we're at resistance. We've got selling failure to get through 24.04. Now, in gaming tomorrow, what would happen in the stock market if the Fed did not cut back its program by $10 billion a month? It would go up initially, but then there would be talk about, well, the Fed can't cut its support for the market because the economy is weakening. So on the E-mini, we'd expect a reaction higher and then perhaps some selling. On the note, we'd expect the note and the bond to go higher because they're going to maintain support for the market. The economy is weakening, buy bonds, sell stocks. So we know what we want to do before the fact. We thought about it, and this is what you have to do to be an effective trader. You can't react to the news like two lines crossing. It's too late. You've given up trade location to do that. You can't think through the news when it hits like that. So if they go ahead and taper, cut it by $10 billion per month, we're probably in a situation where the financials can trade a little bit lower, and the E-mini is going to trade higher because of the Fed's confidence in the economy. So that's the type of thinking that you have to do. And I know it gives you a headache, and to me, most people really don't want to put the work in to become successful at this. And number one, you have to become very, very competent in analysis, reading the market, reading the tape, and the rest of that. But that's not the major hindrance. The major hindrance is you not allowing yourself to take the trades your methodology dictates. That's where the real battle and where the real growth comes from, and that's what makes it fun. Okay, looking at the bond right here, we're going to sell failure to take out 12 to 16, then 19 to 23. The buy side, the last rotate down was 6. Maybe get stops below that, so we'll put our buy at 1 to 5. And then at 25 to 29. Jim, you guys get any of this cold weather out there in New Mexico, or has it gone north of you? I mean, it's like 45 degrees outside and the wind's blowing 15 gusts to 35. I mean, I'm putting on more than just a windbreaker to go out on that stuff. Yeah, 52 right now, so yeah, this is a really, really late spring. There'll be parts of Kansas they say will frost. Hope they're wrong. That could really hurt the wheat crop. where it does frost. It has emerged and it's looking for water. We don't have any moisture to speak of in this for the next 3 or 4 days. This is one of those cold, dry fronts that come through. They don't bring moisture with them. They wring moisture out of the air if it's already there and in place. But that got blown out in a hurry. At least here in Wichita, we had 35 gusts to 45 winds as this front came through, and it's hard to build 50, 60,000 foot thunderstorms with those kind of winds. Okay, here we are in gold. I think it's the same thing. We got this 1300, 1302, so on. The market will be on hold. Until the FOMC speaks. On the buy side, we'll make it 90 to 92. Ran it up today. Maybe they run it down tomorrow, 85, 87. Gallup, New Mexico. I remember traveling through Gallup in the 50s, and we always, coming from California back to spend the summers in Tennessee, the Indians, real Indians, standing around. We went through Gallup, New Mexico with our eyes wide open. I remember getting food poisoning there a couple of times as a kid. Couldn't handle that engine food. I imagine it's energy related, right, Jim? Well, if they're rich Navajos, they're selling electricity to Southern California. Maybe an occasional peyote button. Although I don't think that's part of their culture, but I'm not sure. I remember reading a lot of Tony Hillerman novels a long time ago and enjoyed those. Okay, crude today. Stopped at 102, 102.25, so we definitely have a seller above 225. And we definitely have a buyer below $100.50 per barrel. And we got a B shape, so we're pointed lower. So why don't we make 125 to 50, buy one, and then 75 to 100 for buy two. And on the sell side, last rotate up was 38. We're at 04, then 23. So this is very, very aggressive. God, my input to my mouse has gone crazy, and I haven't changed a damn thing. To my mind, of course. And sell 275 to the buck. But that 101.25 to 50 is a very, very aggressive trade. So possibility we can get that done and have it stick. I always wonder if people from that part of the world thought Tony Hillerman's novels about the Navajos and the Hopi, Navajo and the Hopi, if I pronounce that correct or correctly. If my wife's not here, I can say correct. I live with an adverb cop, ex-English teacher, and those are pretty fancy wigs. Fit for a queen at those prices to become a millionaire off of them. Okay, we've had really good support in this one, just right below 138, and we're close enough to get down there. I think maybe just a cute play in London. Go get stops below 138. Buy one, and then we'll make 75 buy two plus or minus. And on the sell side, we'll make 25 to 35, sell one. Give it a little room. And then 45 to 55 were we this morning for sell two. And that's it for our post-market wrap-up on April the 29th.